is Sean's birthday, Sunday, April 6th, about 10:15 in the morning. We are at Mount Vernon, south of Washington, D.C. This is George Washington's home here. We're going to take a tour of that. It is so pretty here. Everything's so immaculate.
It is freezing cold.
But it's pretty.
Don't push your lips.
Okay.
Picture of that thing, the weather vane. Yeah, take a picture of the weather vane. Look at that. Wait.
Sean, you're shaking me.
See the weather vane?
You know what I mean? Like how they do, and then the nostalgic part of it's all gone. It's just amazing.
That's this.
You know, McKinley.
The last thing George Washington added to his home was a cup on the top of his roof. Because hot air rises, he would open the coop's windows and someone would heat out. On the top of the coop, put a weather vane. It certainly points to the direction of the wind. They made it look like a dove with the twing of a mouth of a symbol piece.
Sean, I don't think I want to take a picture if you're going to be like that. Boy, isn't that pretty?
I just wonder if we could go out to see the weather.
No.
We just need a new way.
We're still at Mount Vernon, Washington's home. See all the sheep here?
Look at that baby walking. Now that's cute. That's newborn.
Oh, you want to turn around?
Look at those.
Washington's tomb.
And it was too small for the family too.
Is that his life?
Yes.
Martha on the left, George on the right there.
Dad.
Got
You're not babies? Well, you know what? That's about all we're going to have time for. It's 10 after 12. All right, Mary, we have to go. Mary,
Okay, I'm filming your butt. Okay, how do you turn this off, okay? How do you turn this off? So I just doesn't work.
two very tired kids here. This is Sean. This is Sean after walking 10 miles, getting home. It's 11 o'clock at night. He will not stop.
It's not 11 o'clock, it's 10.
Yeah!
He's been licking my foot all day. I see dead people. Ow! I'm going to need a shower because of all the slobber and all the stinky stuff on my feet.
These guys are nonstop. I just want to document this.
I'm sorry.
He just
I
socked me.
just hit his
He just socked me where it doesn't count.
What? I want you. That, look at that, point the thing over there. Point
Be
the video.
quiet.
Point the video.
Be quiet.
Hey, why don't you tape the clowns on the thingy?
Oh my gosh, he's like, he started like again. Go.
Gettysburg battlefield. You can
This
see all
is
the
where they
snow.
fought, where all the blood was shed.
You can see all the
blood was
snow.
shed in the snow. Ah, there's a blood spot. Ew, ew, ew. Look at the window. Look at all the snow falling.
Anyway, just so you can see all the snow here. Gettysburg Historical Park here. They have a school group here, believe it or not, from California. Boy, I am cold. Look at all the snow here, guys. Oh. Some of the bloodiest fighting in this, the bloodiest battle in American soil was fought right here. John, you can't get this wet.
State. So even though it's a young state, California was a state. The difference, folks, is that back then, California had under 400,000 people. Today, with about 34 million, California has more people than the entire USA did during the Civil War. That's how big and important California is now. Does it sound like California would be like the sixth biggest economic power all by itself if it was independent of the rest of the country? That's how important California is. But back then, very few people.
Oh,
This guy just hit me with an enormous.
look down. Look down.
This is what he hit me with.
And you still have a
When I'm done filming, it's going to be payback time.
Hello, people. This is Gettysburg. Wow, wait, we can't see. Focus.
Hey, look at me, kid. Hello.
Look at that, Spencer. There's Sean with a huge, gigantic snowball. Information. This right here is a field where many soldiers died. Here. And that, I think that's a tombstone with all the people's names on it and some of that. Cannons.
And then we started running.
All the snow.
This was a bloody day on both sides. Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
It's General Warren, who was supposed to be a hero of this. Saved this from being flanked by the Confederates who came up this hill here. The main battle down here, we'll go down and see that. Catherine's very cold. Sean already got her gloves wet, so she can't use. This is where the chill out.
Say hello to the camera, Judy. Okay. Here we go.
time that you badly need, probably.
These people are watching.
Thursday and Friday,
Where's
and
his
if
head?
you don't mind, we'll come back probably late after we see Jamestown and Yorktown on Saturday. We'll stay here Saturday night because Sunday morning we got to go all the
TV's
way up
good.
to Northern Pennsylvania by Indiana,
Focus.
and then the next day we go up to Niagara Falls. Now I hope it's going to be warm enough by next Monday
Close up.
that there won't be too much of a
funny.
problem. But even if we do have a little snow, I think it's going to be the end of the road as long as it's
Still
I
watching
can
TV.
drive.
I don't know what it would be like to take that boat ride and so forth through there.
Well, if it's cold, they might not have the boat ride, but
He's
at least you'll
leaving.
behind the falls where you
from there. Because he was shooting that little gun of his.
I think I'm gonna.
One,
I think I'm gonna skip.
2,
Gonna go up.
3.
You're bothering Aunt Judy, you know. And it's not Aunt Ruby.
Okay, you want to try this outside? Let's show a boat. Come on. Follow me.
You shoot, I won't.
Remember this gun? Remember
That's the one he was
this?
shooting. Ah, don't. You already popped my ear so many times.
Okay, see this? This is a 12 round gun. It was supposed to be for my 38-inch pistol, but it's not working. Then what I do is I'm gonna use
I wonder
my
what's up that
I'm gonna use my danger right here, and then you put it right.
Hurry up! Yeah, 33.
This is the 58 meg pistol bullet. Now follow me.
Jeez.
Okay, come on.
Hurry up, I'm wasting battery.
Going outside.
Yes, we know that up nosy
Follow
person.
me.
This is outside of Uncle Gary's house.
Oh, it's cold. See, look how cold it is.
I cannot see you, but now come on.
Okay. Setting it up. One punch of a
Where's your
button.
face?
Not like this. 1, 2. I will punch your ears, Catherine, but okay, whatever. 1, 2, 3.
He didn't put the bullet in.
It dropped. Frank, find it.
Hey, Mom, I want you to show you the new car that we got. A rental. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, stupid light. Can't really see it because it's night. It's around like 8 o'clock at night right now. Really nice, quiet neighborhood. I'm going in now. So
No,
bye-bye.
hold on. I'm so.
Welcome to the room of horror. Isn't it dirty? It's our room. I sleep there, and baby Sean and Dad sleeps there.
I am now ready to use my gun.
Why
If you think, if you think that was a long time, it wasn't.
Actually, 8:28. So that's because
It's wrong because daylight savings time. Come on.
I call that funny.
Sorry, come on.
Well, next time you see this, it's gonna be outside. Welcome to the dangers of outside. Your host, Catherine. Sorry. Okay. Okay, this is the car again.
No, no, no.
Hi. Bye-bye. Welcome, friends. Hello.
Come on, let's go.
It's Ricardo, you dodo brain. See? It's Ricardo. See?
No, it's not.
Is it? You want to see the tape? Look. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay, run.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Oh! Again.
Oh, I got
Out.
bullet 32.
Back to the dangers of outside. Your host, again, Catherine Long. Sorry, I like doing that.
Dad, but this is my 31.
Just go already, you're going too slow.
bullet. And this right here is a cap bullet. Today's your lucky day because I got 2 cap bullets and 2 brown bullets.
Nice nose.
Yeah, here it comes. On 3. 1. It won't make a loud sound because this
go.
is small. 1, 2, 3.
Don't want to hear that again. Bye-bye.
Just went through security. They gave Sean a hard time because he took his toy gun in that I told him not to do.
some people that I don't know, I might look stupid.
You
I'm
are.
not.
We're having pizza tonight.
Again, looking for squirrels.
We're so cute.
Just saw David, so I was telling him about him being General George Washington and all of this. So the people that you see in these clothes, they're helping people understand history today. Many times they're reenacting history, which helps everybody understand the original. Look at the checker boxes on the coat. Checkerboards. And the heads.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yes, it was. Many times. The first time during the War of 1812, and it was changed again around 1820 as they were getting ready for the return of the Marquis de Lafayette.
There's the sun chair of Washington.
Okay, so you know about Fort McHenry, right? And then it was changed again in 1852 when they took that bell and they put it on display in this room. And then it was changed again in 1876. Then it was changed again in the 1920s, and then it changed again in the 1960s to be what you see today. So it's been changed several times. We were very happy and confident with this side of the room and how it looks. This side of the room is kind of a guess, just not sure.
How about the ceiling? Is that pretty accurate?
Yes, sir, I believe it is. Even well, actually, people have been walking on them for 200 years or more. So that's how come they look so beat up and chewed up. Should be an hour off. I can't imagine I got here. Well, it's not an hour off. What is it? It's about 20 minutes off, right? It should be, matter of fact, 30 minutes off. It should be 10 minutes after 3 right now.
Has that popped in there ever since I was at?
No, what happened was this whole building was changed because the city of Philadelphia used it. So at one point they weren't really his children. So this song is written by Francis Hopkinson and it's called To Washington's Health.
You know I play it.
Shh, I'm gonna try. I'm not sure if I know or not.
I think he's going to show us here shortly.
This is one of my favorite pictures, and my other favorite picture is right on the other side, and that's of his wife. This one. Now, one of the things that makes Charlotte my favorite is that most people don't realize it, but Charlotte is part African, like I am.
I didn't know that.
Yes. As a matter of fact, her family was taken out of Angola and married into the Portuguese royal family. So that was her grandmother that married into the Portuguese royal family. And after the Portuguese royal family, then they married into the German royal families. So he found her in Germany and married her. So that's what makes her.
Yeah.
So knowing that from the very beginning, the federal government did not build its own facilities in Philadelphia. They borrowed whatever was available. Now, the government of Philadelphia, they made available whatever it was that the federal government wanted. You know, their big hope was that in that 10-year period, they would become so comfortable here. Of course, they would decide they really didn't want to keep it.
Abolitionist, third grade, that's a big word for third graders. You know what an abolitionist is? Yeah, someone who helped the slaves out. They were against slavery, right? They thought that everybody should have the same rights. And they saw this old bill, but more importantly, what they really liked about this old bill is it had a Bible verse on it from Leviticus 25, verse 10. And it read, "Proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof." So this is everybody should have the same rights. So they make drawings of this, and they put this on publications against slavery.
This is Gary and Judy's house. About the first opportunity I've really had. Really nice neighborhood. They live in a cul-de-sac here. Nice flowering tree there. That's a rental car, by the way. This is out their backyard. We've got a forested area here. This is really green, I'm sure, when all the leaves turn color. It's an old tree house that they inherited. This local kid here is checking it out. It's funny, it looks just like Sean.
Where does that find in here?
That's all right. We are in Colonial Williamsburg.
Stop popping.
Put your hood up if you're cold.
I can't. My hands are frozen. Look, we got money.
You have colonial money. The king's money.
Oh.
The ox here, they're huge. Okay, we finally took care of Sean. Go ahead, hurry up. Hurry up. Go ahead. Okay, let me. Gee, Sean. Sean, I'll see you in about a week, okay?
Designed for speed of fire. This weapon at the range puts out about 4 shots a minute. Compare that with a rifle in the day, you're talking about 2 shots a minute. Unless you're as good as I am. Then you get about 1 shot a minute. Not designed for accuracy. The way you use this is very simple. You mass them in very tightly together to dense pack formation. You fire a tremendous hail of lead under the tight control of the officer in the direction of the enemy, and it's like shooting off a shotgun. And of course, after you shoot at him long enough, then you go after the enemy with the main weapon of the musket, the bayonet, which is used either to cause the enemy to have a blinding flash of the obvious, that if he stands around in that same spot, his body's going to look like a Swiss cheese, and he runs away. And if he does not run away, then his body looks like a Swiss cheese. Either which way, you win the battle. You hope. Keeping in mind, of course, that you're facing another fellow who also has one of these and is trying to do exactly the same thing as you. Wonderful way of fighting, isn't it? So I'm going to go ahead and go through the loading process now. I'm going to use Lord Harvey's manual, 1764. That's the basic manual for the British Army. I'm going to go through the parade drill first. And I'm going to go through, knock on wood, the flint works, the battle drill. So, soldier starts off at the recover position. First thing he's going to do is going to bring the weapon to the half cock, That's the safety position. Reaches around, claps his cartridge box, opens it up, and pulls out a cartridge. This is what a soldier uses, a cartridge. This has only got gunpowder in there. If I had a real one, I'd have a musket ball right here, gunpowder would be on top. The soldier takes this and bites it open. Wonderful tasting stuff, gunpowder. Have you ever smoked a really rotten egg? This tastes worse than that. Get a good mouthful of it every time you open a cartridge. Next, he primes it in the priming pan. Puts a little bit of powder in the priming pan, shuts the pan, casts the weapon about. Command charge with cartridge, he pours the rest of the powder down the barrel. Now at this point in time, if I had a full cartridge with ball, I'd load it in as well. Since all I got now is just paper, I'm not going to load just the paper. Next command is draw a ramrod. Ramrod pulled out and turned around, the large end put in the muzzle of the weapon. When the command ram down cartridge, all I have to do is throw that ramrod down once, at the most twice. Shoot the ball down at the breech. Ramrod's in return. Of course, right now I'm not actually going to ram. Since all I've got down here is loose gunpowder, I don't think anybody wants to wear my ramrod as a head ornament, do you? I didn't think so. Well, there's one in every crowd. Get about 200 feet out over that way, we'll try it. Soldier comes back on the shoulder. Man's been given. Poise firelock, full cock firelock, and present. And notice I said present, I did not say aim. You don't aim a musket. All the soldiers point the weapon straight ahead, dressing the muzzle with the man to the right. The man on the right's a captain. He says where the musket's going to go. Now the next command is fire. If you do happen to have delicate ears, now is the time to put your fingers in them. There shall be no jumping or leaping this time. Fire! Now the battlefield.
68,230 pounds of gunpowder and 2,500 muskets. And one shipment arrived here. That's over 34 tons of gunpowder. Today in the building we have under 200 firearms on display, so over 10 times the amount of firearms that you see were shipped here. The excess that would not have fit on the walls, the crates that you see sitting around the room, is what they would be filled with, muskets. Now these supplies are going to be put into the hands of citizens of Virginia under a system where they're going to take a step above and beyond their duty as militiamen. They're going to enlist in a regular Virginia Army for the duration of the war. What would encourage you as a young man living here in Eastern Virginia to want to take up arms and go 400 miles into the wilderness to fight? Any ideas? Money is definitely going to be one, and I heard the other one. Land. If you're living here in Eastern Virginia, what's been raised here is the cash crops in 1614. Tobacco has worn out the land. Large plantations are busting up and becoming small farms because you can't make a living large quantities of tobacco being raised. And if you're the youngest of 5 living on a farm, what do you have to look forward to? Working for your brothers for the rest of your life, huh? So land is promised. They go west, they fight. And everybody knows who wins, right? We're not speaking French as our national language today. That should give you a hint. So who wins? Well, who's we? Very good. The British win. They sign treaties.
There's the courthouse. We're going to go see a trial.
Your Honor, all be upstanding. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Silence is commanded in the court while His Majesty's justices are sitting upon pain of imprisonment. That all manner of persons that have any business before this court, let them draw near to their attendance. And if anyone have a claim to enter or suit to prosecute, let them come forward, they shall be heard. God save the King.
God save the King.
May take your ease. Gentlemen and fellows of the common area, if you're not a Jew, a Quaker, or an officer of the court, please remove your hats.
What is first upon the docket?
Your Honors, a grand jury presentment against James Holloway for non-attendance of church.
Call the party.
Your Honor, James Holloway, come forward, you shall be heard. Second call, James Holloway. Third call, James Holloway. Mr. Holloway does not answer the call, Your Honors, and I don't see him in here.
This is an indictment, is it not, sir?
It is, Your Honor.
He was properly served?
He was, Your Honor.
Very well. What was the charge again?
Non-attendance of church, Your Honor.
For his failure to appear, gentlemen, I move we issue judgment against him with only 5 shillings? Mark, if you don't know, judgment is for the parish against Holloway and the value of 5 shillings.
Yes, Your Honor.
Or 10 lashes if you can say. What is next?
Yes, Your Honor. William Brown is presented for non-attendance in church.
Call him.
William Brown, come forward, you shall be heard. Mr. Brown, you stand right here.
Stand and hear the indictment read against you.
Presentments of the grand jury. William Brown is presented for willfully absenting himself from his parish church for the space of 1 month, contrary to the form of the 1744 Act of the General Assembly in that case provided, Your Honor.
You hear the presentment. I'll plead you guilty or not guilty.
I am not guilty of missing worship, Your Honors. I am lately converted to the Presbyterian faith. If I understand the law correctly, Your Honors, I need no longer attend Anglican service.
That is true, so, and you took the appropriate oaths and commenced your attendance before you were presented for non-attendance of the established church. Have you done those things? You may explain yourself, Mr. Brown.
Sorry, Your Honors. Your Honors, I belong to the Presbyterian congregation of this city, and I've been worshiping at Davenport's Meeting House by the Capitol for 3 Sundays before I was accused to the grand jury. I brought a letter from the minister which affirms what I have said.
Mr. Clark, would you receive the missive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Read it in the hearing of the court, sir, if you would.
Your Honors, I can solemnly state that William Brown is a member of my flock and that he's attended worship prior to last month's meeting of the grand jury. Signed, the Reverend James Waddell.
Thank you, Mr. Honor. Mr. Connolly, do you know anything of this fellow? You are a Presbyterian, are you?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm a Presbyterian.
There's only about a dozen of you in town, are there not?
There are 18 of us now, Your Honor, with the Bishop Brown.
I see. Then you know the man.
I do, sir, yes.
Does he speak truthfully in court?
He does.
Very well. I move, gentlemen, that as the man is known by the undersheriff, that we forego him swearing the oaths of fidelity and accept his mitigating circumstance for not attending the established church. In this case, not said that. Very well. The charge against you is dismissed. You are free to go from the cognizance of the King's court. However, remember this. Though you are a dissenter and legally so, not like these Baptists, nevertheless, you've got to pay the tax for caring for the Church of England here in Williamsburg, as likewise the care of widows and orphans. You understand?
I understand, Your Honors.
Very well. Good day. What is next?
A complaint of George Goosley, corn, meal, garden stuff, and other things without the consent of their owners. She harbors and entertains slaves, even suffers them to gamble at cards in her house. Praying that she may be prevented and corrected from further injury to the freeholders of this county, is signed George Goosley.
Thank you, sir. I presume, madam, that you claim innocence of this particular charge, else you'd not be here today. This is a Quaytam action, is it not, Mr. Clark?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Mr. Goosley, it falls to you to prove your charge and may proceed.
Your Honor. Your Honors, I believe I can prove by 2 witnesses of the slave patrol that Anne Braithwaite has indeed broke the law by selling and trading and allowing Negroes to gamble within her home. If I may indeed call Samuel Timpson to the bar.
Mr. Undersheriff.
Samuel Timpson, come forward, you shall be heard. Place your right hand and call the Holy Writ. Do you, Samuel Timpson, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? He is sworn, Your Honor.
Proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Timpson, when I came to you the other day concerned about what was taking place in Anne Braithwaite's home, could you please tell the court what you did upon my complaint?
Your Worship, I have served as an officer of the Slave Patrol and have been for many years.
there were some petty thefts, so we were watching the roads. Late one Saturday night, a slave man, fresh gentleman, in the sentiment, in the face of the sentiment of invention.
Pretty, huh? It is so cold here.
There.
Yeah,
We'll have someone to be with you in just a minute.
no problem. Oh, this is nice. This is more like it. Miss Berg. Wythe was a lawyer and a signer of the Declaration of Independence, and also a tutor to a young Thomas Jefferson. Pretty interesting. Guys, do you want to go into the house now? Look at the specimens here, John, see?
Oh, cool. Look at the eel. Right there on the table. That jar. Oh,
That's what he's talking about.
it's an eel. That's what the person said. Look at all the ones. Oh, look at all the ones on top. A frog, eel, fish, crab, a
clear that she did not welcome his advances. So having been disappointed in that respect, he found himself more ready to devote himself to his studies. He was 3 years reading law, and I found him always a pleasant companion. He was interested in the very aspects of the law, the principles of equity, the principles of justice, the fundamental principles that underlay the law, which I find most interesting, rather than merely intent only upon learning how to.
4 or 5 different colors, reds, whites, purples. Williamsburg. And it is muy frio. Fria or frio, whatever that is. This is the governor's mansion here in Williamsburg. It's raining and it's cold. This would be so pretty and so enjoyable if it wasn't so darn cold.
18th century vehicle,
wagons.
Wagon, very, they're good choice. Okay, wagons have how many wheels, you know? Good. So this has 2 wheels. This is going to be a cart. This blue thing. This is going to be a small cart.
This is the governor's mansion in Williamsburg. Patrick Henry used to live here.
That could be called a show of arms, but and actually there is a term for that. But more or less, what you got here is a tradition of decoration. See, in Britain, there were country houses across the landscape where squires and lords lived, and those were seats of power. The room as if it is the bedchamber for the governor and his wife. Almost nobody would get to visit here. So, remember I said you get to see the bed the governor sleeps in? There it is. There's the bed. And
Ballroom in the governor's mansion at Williamsburg. Right now, although it's a little moist out there, a little drizzling.
And I'm wearing the same clothes.
Flowering, whatever those are, plum tree, or I don't know what those are.
Cherry blossoms.
So you can easily get enough speed.
Cabinet maker.
There's somebody down there is just going to draw a sharp tool along the edge of that block, shaving off the corners of this round.
Yeah, so we can shape that bedpost just like the one underneath it, in terms of its cylindrical shape. But now the fluting and the rope detail and the acanthus together, it all has to be carved. You don't need a lot of technology to do some great things. So this is pretty high tech compared to, but the idea of shaping something that's spinning, you know, goes back at least 4,000 years.
Cabinet maker's house. Don't step in the water.
Waylaid by these 5 road bandits.
I think so. I will definitely let the sheriff know, sir.
Cabinet maker's house there.
Yeah. You looked the wrong way. Oh, what are you looking for? The wrong place is okay.
This is how the regular people lived here. This old.
Feels like it should be afternoon.
Are you a tailor?
Yes, sir. Is my sign above the door, Professor?
Oh, okay. Well, I thought maybe that was your last name. I couldn't.
Hansford's my name.
Hansford. Okay. I guess I wasn't looking.
Oh, is it Taylor?
Good day to you. How do you do?
This is the tailor's.
What's the Taylor? What's the Taylor?
He makes clothes.
Close the door. It's cold out there. I can't afford enough firewood to heat in the city. So how could I help you all? Come to have new suits made, I think. Or you're just out bopping about shops? The second one. Well, I never mind that. It's often those who come looking that come back to die sometime later. So, you'll have to excuse me that I didn't get up to greet you. I'm trying very hard to finish this suit. The man for whom it's made should be here at the end of the day. I have a little bit of work left to do upon it. But with this done, I'd be ready to take out a custom. Perhaps a suit for one of you gentlemen. For the ladies, steeds and riding habits, Brunswicks and Jesuits. You're awfully quiet. Are you ever?
Who's Walter Raleigh?
He was a English adventurer and explorer. Is it possible to get a better view from the other side, or
Pretty much this.
is it?
Here we are again at Williamsburg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are all shells on the floor.
We could go on the beach.
Look at mine.
We gotta go to the beach. We gotta go to the beach.
You wanna shut that thing off, Captain?
Okay, give me a second.
Thanks.
Absolutely enjoy.
I hope behind us. Huh? Yeah, looking at that.
Not only are these men legislators, but they're also advisors to governor, and thirdly, they're the judges of the highest court here in Colony, Virginia. And this court here's two kinds of cases. This court, first of all, here's all civil cases over 20 pounds, which was a considerable amount of money in the 18th century. Civil cases under 20 pounds, they're heard at the county court.
This is the upper house of the House of Burgesses, or what was later called the Senate in Virginia. Austin, the upper house.
This is an ideal place to have a joint conference because it bridges or joins the two houses together. We just left the King side of the building. In a few minutes we'll go into the People's side of the building. And this room sort of connects the two houses, one of which is age. Probably think you might have to be 30. Not quite 30. Little lesser than 25, your majority. 21. 21 is considered majority. You have to be a certain sex. Male. A certain race. White. A certain religion.
Christian. Anglican.
English church. All Catholic.
Who are you?
So this is the hall of the House of Burgesses where those elected officials of the Virginia Assembly were meeting. We'll talk about a little bit upstairs. They would be seated across from one another for purposes of debate. That's why you see the benches arranged this way. No.
Come on, Sean, we gotta go see the jail.